Yeah. Okay. Wonderful to see everyone again. Hello, Alex. Make it back safely. Good.
Yes, thank you. Yesterday.
Yeah, nice.
Nice
Middle
to
of,
see you again.
how's the jet lag?
It's fine. It's not that bad. Thanks.
Good. All right. So I'd love to see your beautiful faces as per usual. You can hide behind the darkness of Zoom. Hi, Emily. Okay. So welcome back. We're starting the 11th of 36 courses. So relax. Got a long ways to go still. But I'm really excited because this is some of my favorite things to talk about. I'll probably say that in most classes. But we're talking in this course of the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. We're going to be in kind of what I mean, some of my favorites, like some of my favorite practices are here. And I think it's interesting for us to, how do I say this? Shanti Deva. Okay, so I'm sorry. If you're brand new, hi, I'm Tim. Hi. I got criticized once, like, Tim, you got to say who you are. Okay, hi, I'm Tim. I work for ACI. And so if you're brand new, don't worry. You're here because your karma brought you here, meaning you're here because it's the right time for you to be here. So we're in the middle of Shantideva's book, The Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. And we're going to be discussing, we're in the middle of the six perfections as well. So in the first course we did in the beginning of the year, we discussed the perfection of giving and the perfection of ethics, the perfection of doing good things. And we're now moving into the perfection of patience, joyful effort, and meditation in this course. And I like these, especially like the first two. Meditation, I mean, I like meditation too, but meditation is kind of a good meditation is kind of a result of the other ones. And I think Master Shantideva gives us some really great advice how we can practice with our afflictions. Basically, if you're having a bad day, if you're having somebody yell at you, your health isn't right, whatever it is, Shantideva gives us some practical advices that help us shift our perspective, which actually is then shifting the seeds, which is then shifting the amount of wisdom that you have inside of you. And what we're preparing for is we're really preparing for the wisdom chapter, the final, the sixth perfection, where we get to go very deep into emptiness, which we're not going to avoid at all in this course, of course. So anyhow, let's just get started and let's see where this takes us today. So as per usual, we have to discuss what is the text that we're studying. It's the same text as last time, so don't be too worried about it. So the first text we'll be studying is Master Shantideva's text, right? Janchup Sempe Chula Jukpa, a guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life. All right. And that's just, we have it here in Tibetan just for you nerds out there that want to learn, who will eventually learn all of this. All right. And then we're studying a commentary on this book by Geshe. And that's called The Children of the Victorious Buddhas, or the Geshe Juknog. That's your question for your first homework. Okay. Just if you want to write that down. And Geshe, does anyone remember Geshe dates? I know it's kind of boring. Eventually you learn all of these things. And you're not allowed to look at the homework. Answer key. Jillian, good job. 1364 to 1432. All right, so quite a while ago. So when we're talking about anger, right? So I think the main point is, or excuse me, we're talking about the perfection of patience, which is the first perfection we're going to deal with. What we need to do is we need to look at what are we being patient from? Like that's what the most important question is. When you've heard about the perfection of patience, which is the third one, does patience mean, you're patient with like waiting for the bus because the bus is late? Or are you patient with someone? Like usually patience is about waiting, right? It feels like there's some kind of waiting happening. Like I'm being patient. This thing is happening or something isn't happening. And then I'm patient, right? I'm just waiting for it to be different, right? Which is a good Dharma practice in and of itself, I guess. Things aren't the way you want them to be. So let's just wait, right? Let's just wait for them to change. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a Dharma pet. What happened to show your dog? There he is. Okay. He's like, oh my God. All right. Just so you all know that I do watch your videos. What was the name? I'm not sure what you're talking about. The perfection of patience. I'm not sure what I was talking about. So it has, to me, it feels like I'm waiting for something to change, right? I'm waiting for something different. Like I'm waiting for this person's personality to become better, right? I'm waiting for them to be nicer. I'm waiting for them to finally figure out that they're being a jerk, right? I'm waiting. It's just that there's a feeling of time. And there's also a feeling of, if things don't change, then I will lose patience. I'm chill until I can't be chill anymore. Right. And I think I hope, I don't know. Hopefully you can relate to that, right? You're good until you're not. Right? There's a place where you're just like, nope, I cannot deal anymore. I'm done. I've lost my patience. I've lost my capacity to be calm and, accepting, tolerant of whatever is happening. And Barbara's like, I know this. Right? And then when you reach that point, it's all over. Fire and brimstone, hellfire just comes out of you. Anger, whatever comes out of your mouth. Some people like to stomp away, whatever a reaction, comes out of you. Right. And you just say, well, I lost my patience. I'm sorry. Like, then you apologize. Maybe it was justified, who knows. But that's not the kind of patience we're talking about. Well, kind of we are. But we're going to understand a lot more subtle understanding of what Shantideva means in the perfection of patience. What does it mean to practice being patient? What does it mean to, in a lot of ways, how do we plant the seeds for patience? Right? Because it's not a kind of like, it's not like a balloon, right? That you're just filling up and being like, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. And then the balloon pops. It's not, patience in this sense, Supa, is not it's not a holding back of something else. Right? It's not like building a wall, and hoping that you don't react. But let's have a look at it. So the first thing we need to look at is, what are we battling against? Like, what are we really battling against? Right? And I'm not saying the kind of patience we were talking about is not, not relevant. Of course it is. Because usually what happens is we get angry, we get frustrated, right? Things aren't working the way we want them to work. And so what happens? We have some kind of reaction to it. Usually it's anger, whether you actually express it through your words or maybe your eyes, or maybe you, as I said, maybe you stomp away, right? Slam the door. That always is effective. That communicates what's going on. I'm mad at you. Bam. Right? You shut the door. You slam that door. Right? Hang up the phone. Or better, you write 20 paragraphs in Telegram explaining to them why they were wrong. So however you express it, right? However you express the moment when you lose your patience, the most dangerous version of it is anger. It's like the opposite of that patience. And Master Shantideva is very clear about it and describes what that anger, the result of that anger. All right. So there's some more immediate results and there's some more ultimate results or longer term results. And this is why we study all of these things, so we can understand. Maybe the next time you get angry at somebody, you'll think about it and you'll be like, oh shit, maybe I should be careful. So Shantideva says there's things that we can see and the things that we can't see. There's certain results of our having lost our patience. There's certain results of having lost our anger, or excuse me, lost it so we are angry, that we can see, and then the ones that we can't see. So let's do the ones we can see, because we're pretty familiar with those. It doesn't take a genius. It doesn't take a Dharma practitioner. Like, it doesn't take you coming to a class to see these. If you haven't seen them, either you're someone who doesn't get angry, or no one has ever gotten angry around you, which would be hard to believe, but that's That's fine. So let's talk about the things we can see, right? The problem of anger. Well, what's the problem of you getting angry? Here's a good picture just in case you need one to remind yourself of what anger looks like. Okay. Right. What does anger do? What does anger do? Okay. Obvious. Okay. This is not like rocket science. Okay. Right. It makes you unhappy. Okay. Good. Okay. There's no physical pleasure. You lose your sleep. Your mind is not settled. It raises your blood pressure. There's no ultimate peace, right? It gives you all of these things. Anger brings on all of those things for you. When you have things you can see directly, right? You cannot see the central channel be blocking Persis. Talking about things you can see, right? But that's obvious, right? You're not a pretty person. You don't feel like a pretty person, And usually when you're angry, it's because you want something or you want something to stop. And sometimes that works, right? Sometimes that does give you a feeling of satisfaction. That you did yell, that you did scream, that you did all of these things. And then when you get it, then you feel better, right? And then once you calm down, you may not actually feel better because you realized how many people you hurt by being angry, right? And then the second thing, obviously, which many of you are putting in the chat, is that it ruins our other relationships, right? It's not just about our own peace of mind. It also ruins all the relationships around us. Right. And it gives you, one moment of anger, I've done it, and you say something that just ruins everything. Hope you haven't had that experience. But if you really get to that, let's mute you. If you don't get to the place where you say something that just destroys a relationship, people will eventually just get tired of you. They'll just get tired of being around you and they'll leave. Right. I've had, I distance myself from people that are angry all the time. It's not fun to be around them. It's not enjoyable. It's not productive. All of those things. So these are just sort of worldly consequences. One, you're not, you're not happy, right? You're frustrated, you're unsettled, you're all of those things. And everyone around you just doesn't like you. And the thing is, like, and I'm not saying that, yes, anger does happen. That's why we're practitioners. Practitioners mean we are practicing. Okay. Don't worry if you got angry today. And that's okay. Right? Part of the human existence is getting angry. And we're working to perfectionize this. We're working to change it. But we see the extreme versions of anger how far it goes. How far can you go before it becomes too much? And eventually you'll just, eventually you'll form a habit of just being, translators, this is a fun word for you to learn, curmudgeon. And curmudgeon is okay. They always talk about like the kids who are playing in the neighborhood, and they avoid old man, like the old man who lives around the corner. Because if you go in the old man's yard, he will start yelling at you. He'll be like, damn kids, or the story, like, the soccer ball goes over the fence and they have to go in the yard to get the soccer ball. And the guy's he's just grumpy, right? A perpetual grumpy person is a curmudgeon, all right? Learn that it's a good word. I don't even remember how to spell it. It's a hard word even. Is that how you spell it? I don't know how to spell. I don't even know how to spell my own language. English is really hard, by the way. There it is. Forgot a D. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Okay. So wonderful. Great. We all know where anger leads in the world, like generally. But where does, what are some of the things that we can't see about it? Right? Having anger has a lot more deeper consequences, according to Shantideva, that we actually should be a little bit more afraid of. And what he says is that anger has the ability, we have to talk about it, but anger has a result that it ends up burning your storehouse of good seeds. So if you've done all these good things, and then you have a moment of really intense anger, you can burn all of those good seeds like that. And it's a little bit scary to think about. And he actually goes on to be a little bit more direct about it. And he says it's not just any anger, but it's anger directed at a bodhisattva that burns those seeds, that burns that storehouse. And not even that, is that it burns thousands of eons of good seeds as well. One moment of real anger at a bodhisattva can burn eons, lifetimes, many, many lifetimes of good seeds. So it's a little scary to think about. We have to talk about it because there's some caveats, like there's some things there. So first of all, how do we know? Okay, here's a good question. How do we know if someone's a bodhisattva? Do they wear a t-shirt? Do they wear a t-shirt that says, I'm a bodhisattva? Don't get angry at me. Right? It'll fuck you up. How's that, Anastasia? For a t-shirt. I'm a bodhisattva. I'll fuck you up. Right? So actually, the bodhisattva won't do anything. You'll do something. That's the problem. Right? You don't know who is a bodhisattva around you. And meaning, someone who's, I wonder, this is a good question. I didn't think about this when I was preparing the class. I'm going to go look right now. I wonder if it means an Arya Bodhisattva, meaning someone who's seen emptiness directly, or if it means just a person who's taken Bodhisattva vows. Hold on a second. Fine. Hold on. Let's have a look. A single moment of anger. Doesn't say. This is a good question. My guess is that it has to be an Arya Bodhisattva, someone who's seen emptiness directly. But we're going to investigate. But I think it's even better not to even make that distinction. Don't worry. Like think of it this way. Let's just take all of those distinctions out. Let's not get technical. What I think Shantideva is saying is that getting angry at anyone who is doing good deeds hurts you. Getting angry at anyone who's doing good deeds hurts you. Now, of course, you have seeds of built up of anger. Okay. But the idea is that somehow getting angry at someone who does good things they says burns your masses of good seeds. Sorry, class 1 is a little depressing. How many people got angry yesterday? Yeah, I did. Right? Well, shit. We're all going to the hell realms. I'll see you there. We'll have Dharma classes there. Okay. We'll find each other. We'll just hang out. We'll be in the corner, like burning. It's too hot, getting blisters. But we'll be studying Dharma together. Okay. Let's just look for each other. At least we get to do it together. Like we're in the corner. Everyone's else. Why are you in the hell realms? Well, I killed somebody. Blah 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 blah. Why are you guys here? Well, we just got angry at bodhisattvas. Not so bad. Okay, so let's ask about this. Like, there seems to be something wrong to me, and I just want to discuss it. Is how does it burn seeds? Like, doesn't make sense to me. How does it, if there's karmic justice in the world, right? How does anger burn seeds? Does it actually burn seeds that you can't have them ripen in the future? That feels a little bit wrong to me. And for those of you who are new in the class, when we've talked about karma previously, is that if you plant the seed, if you do the action, if you think it, you say it, you do it, the result has to come. It's karmic laws, But then we get into this discussion where Shantideva says, well, one moment of true anger at a bodhisattva will destroy ages, eons of amassed good seeds. And what does that mean? I think Persis said it, I think it's more like those seeds of anger become so strong. And the nature, we have to look at the nature of anger. We have to look at like, what is anger really, what's actually really happening? And what it means is that it just becomes so strong that the seeds of anger become so large and so grand that they just make those other good seeds impossible to ripen. Because the nature of anger is a complete misunderstanding of the world. It's a complete 100% misunderstanding of what's going on. It's a complete ignorance of where things come from. Because if you're upset at somebody, you think they're doing it to you. They're yelling at you. They're upset. They're making you wait. They're whatever the things are that they're doing. You think they're doing it to you. Right? And that's the main misunderstanding, is that they're not doing anything to you. You're doing you to you. You're just watching old you. Right? You're just watching the old you pop up. Is that bus late? Yes. Why is that bus late? Why are you reacting to the bus being late? How do you feel about the bus being late? What are you doing while the bus is being late? All of those things are your own seeds ripening, because you could be having an entirely different experience of the bus being late. You could be relaxed. You could be super excited because you're sitting next to somebody that you like. And you're like, thank God the bus is late, because I get to like hold their hand for 5 minutes longer before I have to leave. And then you're not upset, you're grateful. Or you're just pissed off because you have to be somewhere. You have a job interview and the bus is late. Well, why is the bus late? Maybe you should have gotten there earlier. Maybe you were late. Maybe you were late in the past. Maybe you made somebody else irrationally late because you didn't do something that you said you were going to do on time. And now that bus is like just reflecting back what a jerk you were before. And now you're not going to be able to get this job because the bus is late. So you get angry, right? You get angry at the traffic. You get angry with the bus driver. You call the Port Authority, whatever. You just complain about it, right? I'm sorry, it's too damn late. Your seat is already opening. You calling the Port Authority to complain about their buses being late isn't going to make the bus that's currently late get there any faster. My favorite is the airplane that's an hour late leaving that still arrives early. Oh, we were able to fly faster, so we arrived earlier. What? We left an hour late. I was going to miss my connection. And then we arrived early. Obviously they design things for these weird things, but why do I see at least the airline I fly with seems to plan for Like they have built-in time frames that don't make you late, even if it feels like it. Or, you're the person, we arrive late, and for some reason immigration stops you but doesn't stop anybody else, and then you miss the next flight but everyone else doesn't. Like, why do you have the seeds for that? So really, at the end of the day, it's an understanding, or rather a misunderstanding of what's happening. And your reaction to whatever's happening, if you're having a negative emotion, is a misunderstanding. So the stronger that misunderstanding, the stronger the emotion that comes up, the stronger you focus on that emotion, which is the nature of anger. Because when you're angry, you're right. You're correct. No one else is correct. You're the one who's correct. And then you're just putting in one big seed of ignorance. Sandra asked an interesting question, and I think it is a good question, Sandra. If you know it's coming from you, should you get angry at yourself? Well, Shakti Deva actually does say there is one valid use of anger, and it's being angry at your mental afflictions. Don't be angry at the person you were that created the late bus. Okay. Because you know, who knows what happened, why they created that late bus, right? But if you get upset, you should be angry at yourself. Right. Of course, Ashanti is saying, when you see injustice, right? Yes, the thing is, when you see things you don't like, this doesn't mean just be like a doormat. It means, all right, I'm seeing things this way. How do I change that? Right. And it doesn't mean, if you're protesting something, you can still act like a protester and not be upset. Right. Like I was in a meeting the other day, and I was saying and doing things that people thought I was upset. And I wasn't upset at all. In fact, I was trying to make a point. And someone afterwards was like, Tim, if you had talked to me ahead of time, you wouldn't have been so upset. And I was like, oh, you have no idea that I wasn't even upset at all. I was trying to move something. I was trying to change something. I was trying to inspire people, actually, which ended up being the result. But I wasn't angry. So I wasn't planting bad seeds in that way. So you can take the appearance of anger if you're trying to teach something, definitely not being angry. But when that emotion overflows you, this one you have to catch it. You have to look at it and be like, whoa, whoa. The overflowing of this emotion, yes, is coming from a previous seed. But I don't want to perpetuate that seed. Right. And that becomes the main practice. And so Shantideva says very astutely, he says this, and let's have someone read it, and then we'll translate. How about Sandra? Can you read this for us? And it's in verse 2.
Okay. Galte kos yu su yot na ni delam mi gar chi sik yot.
Perfect. Let's just stop right there. Perfect. Nice job. Okay. Kalte means if. All right. Kalte means if. Ch, as in like classical commentary, tenche, means to fix. Okay. If there is something to fix, okay, meaning if you can do something, if there is something that you can, oh, cripes, if there is something that you can do, right? Why should you get upset about it? Okay. If there's something that you can fix, why should you feel upset about it? Go ahead and fix it. All right. Angelica, read the next one.
Galde jos sumet nani delamidga yas sipan.
Okay.
If you can't do anything about it, why get upset?
Right. So first, oof, come on, Tim. Che, it's che chi pen. So de la miga che chi pen. So if there isn't anything you can do, gaute chusu me. Me means nothing. If there's nothing you can do about it, why would you get upset? Okay. If the bus is late, what the hell, if you're sitting on that airplane, right? What are you going to do about it? Like, it's already, right? The airplane is already late. The airplane's already broken. We're sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we have a maintenance problem. Like, frankly, I'm happy that they're not taking off if there's a maintenance problem. I'll sit on the ground until it's fixed. Right? But there's nothing you can do. It's too late. Right? It is too late. The seeds are already ripening. The bus is late. The airplane is late. The person's acting like a jerk. You know, the person's being, whatever it is, it's too late. It's already too late. You cannot do anything about it. And if you can do something about it, why should, what's the use of getting upset? You know, like for example, like the last day of the ACI event, we were looking, like there was something wrong with the tech table, you know, normal stuff. And something wasn't working. And I was watching them. And it was actually for me because they were putting something up for me and I'm on stage. And I was watching them stress trying to find something. And I was like, I'm standing up there in front of the whole group of people, 110 people. There are 200, 300 people online. And I'm waiting for something to come up on the screen, right? And I literally was thinking this. I'm like, you know, what's the use of getting upset, Tim? There's literally nothing that you can do. Like you could jump off the stage and you can run back to the tech table and you could try push some buttons. But that's not going to do anything. And then I was thinking, like, I was watching them stress, and I was like, then I was just trying to buy time, and I was like, well, what can I do? And I said, well, look, don't get upset back there, guys, because it's not working. It's not working because of some previous seed. So why get stressed? What seed are you going to plant now? Breathe a little bit, relax, let the computer fail, whatever. All of those are previous seeds anyway. What do you want to put into the future? Right? So what can you do? Like, don't get upset because things aren't working. You can do something. You can just relax. Right? You can just be like, well, shit, this is happening again. The computer is crashing. Or Tim asked for something that he should have asked for 15 minutes ago, so I could be prepared. Oh, why do you have to see someone not preparing you ahead of time? Like, right? Get it? Oh, Tim should have told me this. I would have had it ready. Oh, really? Tim should have done something? No, you should have done something last week. You should have planted the seed last week. You should have planted the seed 6 months ago. That's what you should have done. Hey, be careful. Like, I'm just being a little, it's not that simple. But in a way, it really is. It's like you're just having old stuff ripen. So then you just say, okay, well, how do I want to be in the future? I want to be more calm and relaxed in the face of everything falling apart. Okay, just relax. Right? That's what I did. I just stood there. I kind of babbled and just waited. What else am I going to do? I could do a little dance, right? I don't know. I'm not a good joke teller in the sense of, like, I can't just come up with jokes. Like, I'm not a comedian that way. So just relax. There's nothing you can do. There's literally nothing you can do. I could get angry. I mean, that's an option. But what is anger? Okay, what would anger have done in that moment? Right?
More
Anyway.
stress.
So it could have killed my good seeds, right? Because things not working, if I'm perceiving things not working, that's my problem, right? Okay, so they're over there having their own problem, reacting to the problem, right? But all I can do is just relax around it and just say, okay, well, this is the future I want to create. The future that I'm seeing, I don't like. I mean, excuse me, the present I'm seeing, I don't like. Geshe Michael said during that event, he said, if everyone in the world did retreat, that's a great t-shirt, Jackie. Turn Vajrasattva on repeat. I like that. This is how ACI is going to make money. We're just going to sell t-shirts that don't really make sense to everybody. They have to figure them out. Right? So he said, like, if everyone did retreat, things would change. The world would completely change. If people learned about the source of their anger and what anger actually did. I mean, I'd like to, world leaders are just like children. Like, we're all like children, frankly, when we get angry, right? But then they get mad at each other, right? I'm not going to name names, right? Because it's not appropriate. But I just imagine these two guys in their respective countries. One of the guys might become president again of the United States, right? And they just kind of like get upset with each other, right? And then they yell and they scream and they post on Twitter, right? I think angry politicians on Twitter is the epitome of ignorance. Right? Now you can make fun of people on Twitter. So you can just put one line in. You can just say one line. You know, the politicians making fun of other politicians or calling them jerks or assholes or whatever they use more polite insults. But that's what they're saying. Like what kind of world is that? Oh, that's a world where you're insulting people. What little things go on in your head? What little insults do you make towards people? What ways do you judge others? What ways do you get angry at others? What ways do you gossip towards other people? Like you talk to your friends about the one jerk in your life. You know, bring the responsibility back to you. You know, turn off Twitter. Stop reading Twitter. It's useless. Twitter is useless. Okay. I will say it. Sorry, Elon Musk will not donate to ACI. Or whatever he calls it now. They call it X, which is even more ridiculous. X, don't go there. It's a big X. Don't go there. Right? In Germany, you have big X's on, like everywhere. Germany and Austria are like the number of signs that have X's. I'm sorry, I'm going to make fun of your countries. The number of X's everywhere, like it's extraordinary. But people understand it. It's just rules, right? It's fine. I was at a crossroads. It was like 4 crossroads in a little tiny town that has like one car, and it had 12 different signs telling you which way to go. I was like, there's like 2 cars in this place. Sorry, just making fun of Germans. It's okay. I'm allowed to. I have German heritage. I'm allowed to make fun of it. No, but just stop. Just stop saying stupid stuff like that, Tim. Stop judging an entire group of people based on an X. Okay. Don't judge people. Stop it. Much less don't make one line and think you're being cute and then post it on Twitter and be like, look how smart I am. Just stop that stuff. I mean, I'm good at it. Like, I'm good at like the one-liners. I have an Irish background. The Irish side of my family have very quick tongues, scathing tongues. Bam. They'll like go right in. They'll go right into the right. They'll go right to the jugular. Right. Irish are great at it. I heard it all growing up. Oh, maybe it's a Scorpio too. Fine, Jackie. I'm Scorpio and Irish. Okay. Okay. Well, it's the Scorpio. Oh, by the way, the full moon's in Scorpio too. So just if anyone cares, if that's meaningful to you. Right? But I'm trying to make some jokes here. But it's actually really more serious than that. It's that your anger has the ability to ruin everything. And so how do you navigate that is really the question. Like, how do you navigate a normal human emotion, frankly? Right? And it's really, really and it's one of those things that it's hard to say. Where is this picture? How do I say this? Shantideva says something that I it's really hard. And it's, I get to use my axe here. There you go. Right? And it's basically saying, refuse to be upset by things you can't do anything about right now. Just make it a practice. I will not get upset by things that I can't do anything about right now. Put the X up, talk to the hand, right? And maintain a sense of joy and happiness as best as you can. And really, it has to become a habit. It has to become a good habit. Like brushing your teeth. Over time, refusing to get angry at things you can't do anything about will never become a habit unless you make it a habit. And it doesn't come easily. It's not something that comes easily, especially if you're more of an angry person. But if you make it a practice to do that, just make it it sounds easy. But it's not. Like, once you start making this a practice, then you're going to start seeing how angry you actually get. It'll be like all of a sudden, you're going to start seeing how it is that how often you get angry. Just the little angers, the little annoyances, the little ways that things pop up out of you for no reason at all. So don't worry. Okay. This is normal. If you start making it a practice to refuse to get angry, you're going to start noticing all the times you actually do. So let's do it together. All right. Just think that there are 110 people here, and those 110 people are all practicing. Right? And then start noticing the cycles in your life, like when you get angry and when you don't get angry. Just start noticing those cycles. Like, oh, Jackie put it in there, so I'm allowed to say it. Like, oh, I'm about to get my period. Oh, okay. I bet you I happen to notice these things, that like there's a certain time period where things change for you. Maybe it's 3 days, maybe it's 2, like, and then on those days, things just look different, right? But notice, like, oh, this is a hormonal shift. Okay. And I feel this, I'm having this experience. Okay, great. Not great that you're having the experience, but now you know the experience. Like, I mean, if you're a menstruating female, you know what it's like. It's the same thing every month, more or less. Okay. Get to know it. Get to know your cycles. People who are males, you have hormonal cycles too. Pay attention to them. It's not the same. It's not as regular, but there are hormonal cycles. Mine's like 45 days. Okay. I know when I'm like, oh yeah, this is just me feel, oh, this is a hormonal cycle. Got it. Okay. Can you do anything about it? Nope. You are not in control of your hormones. Sorry. Right? If you are menstruating, you can't control what your body does. Okay. But if you understand the cycles of it, you know you can't do anything about it. So why get upset? That doesn't mean you don't feel bad. There's a difference. Okay. There's a difference here we have to make. Just because you feel bad, like you're not having a good day, you're sick, you're bloated, whatever's going on, you're uncomfortable. That doesn't mean you get upset about it. Those are two different things. Yeah, my body's in pain today. My back hurts. My eyes don't work. I'm whatever it is. Okay. You could be upset about it or not. And that's what we're talking about. It's how you react to it. And if you know you're at a time when you're going to be more sensitive, be careful. Let people know, like, hey, I'm feeling sensitive today. Because whatever reason, like if someone's joking with me and I'm feeling very vulnerable or raw emotionally, I'll just say, hey, look, I'm feeling very vulnerable today, And if they don't stop, like be like, look, I gotta go. I can't take this, I'll love you tomorrow, but today I gotta go. Right. Do the things, know where your break point is too. And that's why we started with this idea of normal patience. Where is your break point? What's a t-shirt? I'm scared, Jackie. Where is that? I love you tomorrow, but today I gotta go. But where is that today? You can assess, like when you sit down in meditation every day, the first thing you should do is do a check-in. How are you today? How is your mind? How is your heart? How is your body? What's going on today? So then you can evaluate what your level of upset, your potential level of upset will be. What is that potential today? What is your potential right now? And then be aware of that. Or you can do all of those things. Or if your wisdom just gets strong enough, then you just don't react. Your reaction gets to a point where you just say, oh, that's happening now. Guess why do I have to see that? I used to, when I get angry, go to the gym, and then I started hurting my body when I went to the gym when I was angry. Annoying, right? And I get mad at that. No, but the more wisdom you have, the easier it gets. So we're starting this whole discussion with normal and moving it to extraordinary. We're moving it from normal to wisdom, ignorance to wisdom. And so we have to do different practices to trick ourselves into it. Because I guarantee you, well, maybe not, but typically the moment that any kind of emotion arises, it takes some time before the wisdom side shows up. How long is it before you think about this is coming from me? How long? Right? And that's the practice. So the how long, that's why we do all these other practices. until the time gap between event and wisdom shortens. How short will that be? Okay. So we're trying to get to a place to understand that patience is more of a state of mind than anything else. Right? And we give all these different examples. And Shantideva gives an example of, it's basically an example of emptiness. All right. So here's the example he gives. You're on a battlefield, right? And you're battling, you're a warrior and you're battling. And somebody, slashes you or you get shot, right? And then you look down at your arm and you're just bleeding. All right. Sorry if this is gross, right? Like a warrior looks at that and then gets inspired. It's like, yes, I'm going to fight more. Rawr. Okay, right? And then there's some people who, like, if they see somebody else bleeding, they like faint. And they're like, whoa, right? And they just can't handle it, right? Like they see somebody else get hurt and then they just like lose their mind and they can't handle it, right? There's no difference, right? The warrior whose own body gets slashed or, somebody watching someone else's body that gets hurt in a car accident. They're both bodies, they're both bleeding, right? One person reacts ferociously and inspired, and the other person, can't handle it at all and just, walks away from it, right? It's the same thing. It's an emptiness teaching, right? It's an emptiness teaching. So patience is a state of mind. Like the way you react to things is a state of mind. It has nothing to do with what's happening, right? Some people get inspired by blood. Other people faint when they see it on somebody else, right? So he's just giving us an example about that. And then he says something really cool. They go on with this warrior. Being a warrior who kills other people, who fights other people, is not a warrior at all. And he gives a really good example. He says, being a warrior who takes the life of other people, or, you can extend that to other things, is not being a real warrior because those people are going to die anyway. They're going to die anyway. Oh, so you just took their life earlier? How noble is that? But he says the real warrior is to fight your own mental afflictions. Because that person, if you live long enough, you're constantly fighting mental and emotional wounds. Your own. Your body hurts, your body gets sick, your mind is upset, you're whatever it is. But you're fighting all of that, and you're trying to fight the mental afflictions. You're trying to get to a place where you don't have those anymore. You're trying to fight the negative emotions. And someone who can beat the negative emotions is more of a warrior than someone who can drop a nuclear bomb and kill everybody. I said it. Someone who can destroy their negative emotions, it's harder and it's more rewarding than it is to go out and post negativities on Twitter. Those people are going to die anyway. Okay. Don't waste your time with that. Spend your time trying to remove the negativities from yourself. That's the real warrior. That's why we call them the Drachombas, Arhats, the enemy destroyers. Who's the real enemy? Okay. And if people understood the nature of their emotions, again, what would happen in the world? Right? What would happen? What would happen in politicians? What would happen in, all of these things? If a politician who makes war decisions thought about it's a greater warrior to deal with their negative emotions than it is to bring a tank into someone else's country and shoot people. Like, oh, well, those people were going to die anyway. But if you could get to a place where you remove your negative emotions, you also could be getting to a place where maybe we could be doing something about this thing called life and death in the first place. I don't usually talk about it too much because it seems unattainable. But maybe we could do something about that. Do something to stop death altogether. Just don't create more death. If you're going around killing people, well, then you're just going to see more death. Maybe death is more of a state of mind than anything else, just like patience. I don't know. We'll have to think about it. So here we are. Shanti Deva says there are three main types of patience. Like we started the class talking about this general patience, right? We started talking about, the patience to wait for a bus, the patience to wait for someone to change, the patience to wait, right? It's a waiting. And eventually you can't wait anymore. And then you have some kind of other emotion. So there's three main types of patience. Where are they? Here it is. The first one, here's a picture for you. And it's the patience, it's an odd thing to say, but it's the patience to take on suffering willingly. To stop seeing suffering as something terrible, but to use it as a path. Like take on suffering as a path, a way to practice. your seeds will ripen. Sorry, they will continue to ripen. All right. Good and bad, mixed until you get significantly more advanced in your practice. But they will ripen. Even the advanced practitioners still have bad things happen to them. But bad things become a path. Okay. So turn problems into a path. It's a patience that takes on suffering willingly, accepts that it's happening. Then do something about it. The bus is late, stop making other people late. Okay. For example. The second one is you got to think about it. It's patience that concentrates on teachings, on the Dharma. And it's the patience to undergo what it takes to learn the Dharma and to learn a wide variety of practices, just like there's a wide variety of shirts in this closet. There's a lot of different Dharma subjects. There's a lot of different presentations. The 4 schools, 6 flavors of emptiness, Sutra, Vajrayana. All different types of people in the world that need all different types of Dharma to help them. What clothes are you going to wear? Okay. And you have to learn what all of those clothes are to be able to help people. And it's the patience to take the time to do it. It's a desire and a devotion. And then the third type of it, this is a ridiculous picture. But you don't mind when other people do harm to you. Okay. Like these 2 kids are inside and there's all these zombies coming after them. All right. It's kind of funny. It's kind of a weird thought. But it's basically the patience that you have the ability to not get angry when you don't get what you want. When people try to attack you, when your reputation is tarnished, anything that comes at you that hurts you, you don't get what you want, right? People tarnish your reputation. They talk poorly about you. And you're just willing to not get angry at them. So this is primarily what we say the perfection of patience is not getting angry when you normally should get angry. When I left the hotel a couple months ago, and they hired someone else who could do it better than me, which was great. A lot of it happened because somebody was sharing rumors about me. Were saying things that weren't true. They were true from their side in some way, the way that they saw things. But they were, speaking poorly of me, and they had been speaking poorly of me for a long, long time. And it was really hard to not get angry at that. Because I sat there, I was like, wow, I tried to make your life better for 5 years and this is the way you thank me? I tried to help you become a better person, and this is what you give me? That's what anger says to you. Right? And then you go, okay, well, wait. How many stories have I told that I thought people were doing things to me? How many times did I not investigate what was going on? How many times did I not see that people were trying to help me? this ripening was actually a ripening that I wanted. I didn't want to work there anymore. It was too busy. It was too much work. I couldn't do the things I was really interested in. Yes, I was serving my teacher, and yes, I was doing all these things, and it was great. But now someone else is doing it, and their job is to be that all they do is hotels. Right? That's what they do. Right? I don't have to do it anymore. I get to do something else. Did it happen the way I wanted it? I was planting the seeds to leave anyway. It just happened not the way I wanted it to happen. So was very careful about not getting angry. It's like, I was like, well, we both got what we wanted. The person who was speaking poorly of me didn't want me there anymore. I didn't want to be there anymore. We both got what we wanted. So I tried to see it that way, even though karmically, maybe they may have been planting some bad seeds, and I was trying so hard to stop that in them, but it couldn't. Right? So, but that's okay. But that's the practice. Like, how do you allow things to happen without being angry about it? Because I couldn't do anything about it anyway. Couldn't do anything about it anyhow. Just was happening. Okay. That didn't mean I didn't have a whole bunch of other emotions, right? I didn't have to understand where those emotions were coming from. But those are the 3 types of patience we're talking about in Shantideva's Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. The willingness to take on suffering and seeing suffering as a path. The second one, I forgot. The second one is the willingness to study and the patience it takes to study the Dharma, the patience it takes to change your worldview. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes a lot of difficulty to switch your worldview. And then the third patience of the willingness to not get angry when people do harm to you. That's the kind of patience we're talking about. So yes, can you practice patience when the bus is late? Yes. But which one are you practicing? Turning it into a path? Are you turning it into a study of the Dharma? Or are you turning it into not getting angry because the bus driver was late this morning? Maybe all 3. It's very, very specific what we're talking about. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be all 3. Cool. Yay, class 1. Thank you for coming. Yay. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Someone sent me a message yesterday that said, Tim, we only have like 5 people signed up. And I was like, don't worry. Don't worry. 113 people came. That's good. I'm happy you're all here, and I'm happy we're continuing the study. So we'll see you next week for ACI 11 class 2. If you would like to stay, in 30 minutes, we will start the next round of Lam Rim, Living Lam Rim, where we're going to moving into meditation problems. So we're going to continue our study, translation, and understanding of Lam Rim. Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy work. Jackie, enjoy the rest of your evening if you're not coming back. And I will see you soon. Let's say goodbye.
Gracias, Tim.
Gracias, maestro.
Grazie maestro, grazie Tim Lo. Buona giornata.
Gracias, Tim.
Ano.
Achi.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gracias, Tim. Por favor, quédate, sigue estudiando.
Thank you, Tim.
Благодарю, дорогой Тим.
Vielen Dank, Tim.
Благодарю, дорогой Тим.
All right. See you in a half hour if you're sticking around. Oh, there we go. Here are the kids. So exciting. Bye. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, that's so cute. Bye.
Thank you so much.